Good afternoon, all. Thank you for joining. Greetings from NIT Puducherry. And today's our distinguished speaker, Dr. Nikita Panjari, a relationship manager and science communicator, Balani Infotech, and the eminent deans, faculty members, library professionals, research scholars, and students. I extend warm greetings to each one of you for joining today's webinar, Academic Writing Skills and Publishing. We have with us Dr. Nikita Vanjari, a very experienced relationship manager and who holds great expertise on the topic academic research publishing. And thank you for all. Here, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it is clear.
Okay. And she has a national and international publication under her name, and she conducted more than 35 online and in-person seminars on scientific writing, web tools, and e-resources for research across India. She worked as a research assistant in ICT Mumbai, a visiting faculty in DY Patel Navi Mumbai, and scientific curriculum specialist for the USC-based journal. And currently, she is working as a relationship manager and science communicator in Balani Infotech Private Limited. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you being with us today and delivering on your expertise on academic writing skills and publishing. And I don't want to waste much time between you and the audience. So,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
ma'am, just have a session.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, National Institute of Technology, Puducherry, for giving us this opportunity. A very warm welcome to all the participants. I can see many are joining. And with that, we will start with today's session. Off my camera. And I hope my voice is properly audible. We are recording this session so that if there are certain important requirements, links, or certain information, we will again share the video link with you. So that is why we are recording this session. At the end of this session, if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer them. I have accomplished my PhD from Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. After that, I started my career in scientific publication. So somewhere I feel there is a bridge between academics and the publication background that helps me bring on the platform certain new perspectives. And in this today's session, those perspectives are shared for our esteemed faculty members, our very hardworking research scholars, and the new students that might find this session useful in the coming time when they are going to conduct research and write their thesis. Academic Writing Skills and Publishing is the title for today's session that will be covering a very broad objective. We are going to touch upon certain points that we deal with every day in our research, in communication for that matter, and a very detailed session on every aspect. Every topic is like an ocean. We are going to just taste the water today. First, we will start ahead with an introduction to scientific communication. Scientific writing is a part of scientific communication. 4 steps of scientific writing and publishing, like these steps covers a very broader perspective that we should know about publication, we should know about predatory journals, what are the basic ideologies we must have while writing and publishing. There are web tools and publication resources which helps us write in a very accurate manner in which we are supposed to be published, because we don't know when it is our first time, but whenever we are going to publish somewhere, there are certain criteria to be fulfilled. These criteria are fulfilled using web tools and publication resources. I must say they help us upgrade our quality of the writing. Of course, the idea and research hard work is ours, but in a proper structural designing. And stay connected with Balani Infotech. Now this session covers a lot. So next 45-50 minutes, I will try to be very precise, concise, so that everything is covered. I am coming from Balani Group. We are the leading library and information service provider, be it print books, e-journals, e-books, from 60 plus global publishers, all the commercial, all the prestigious publisher, AAAS, ACS, we are connected with them and we deal with them. Our existing clients are 5 plus in Indian subcontinent. At the same time, we are existing from 30 plus years. So there is this long trust and association with each of our customers. Managing Director, Mr. Kailash Balani, Balani Group, Aditya Books, Balani Infotech, I Group is his entrepreneurial venture. And introduction to scientific communication. A very foremost, I will tell you that scientific communication, what does it mean to us? Everybody can have different aspects when we talk about communication. People can utilize this resource as per their advantage. If we want to climb our academic career ladder nowadays, in academics, in teaching positions, writing is very important. If it was not visible at that time, we talked about the objective. I went on this particular slide about Balani Group. And this is the first topic that we are going to talk about is introduction to scientific communication. As we said, scientific communication, for my advantage, I can utilize the communication. As a research scholar, if you want to apply at foreign universities, you want to go for higher studies, with your academic grades, publications, how much good quality of publications you have matters a lot. And at the same time, effective communicating is vital to ensure that whatever research you have conducted will make a social, political, and economical impact. Why we are doing the research in the first place? Because we want to make a change in the society, economical change or social change or political change, some changes in our mind. And with our research, our small step can be a guiding stepping stone for some other researchers. And that way an entire big impact is being made. Whatever is your reason. Now, there are different forms of scientific communication. Scientific writing is a very evident form because it will, once you write and publish, it is going to be there in public domain forever. Speeches like today is another form of scientific communication. There are videos, educational videos nowadays we see. There are different modes of communication, scientific communication. Scientific writing can be primary communication and secondary. A broad division because it segregates both of them very wisely on the terms of original information, first-hand information, and something like today's speech. Today's session is something that I am collecting the data and sharing with you. It is not first-hand, but it is again a very important information that is need to be circulated. It can be counted in secondary communication. So original research paper is an original first-hand information. Thesis and dissertation that we do, again, something original we are contributing. In conferences, there are journals and books published. There also we are mentioning the very original information. However, review paper, literature paper, these are comprehensive understanding because it is said that if you read 100 papers, then you are good to write one single review paper. That kind of broader understanding you must have. So while we are reading one review paper, we understand the objective from so many content at one single time. It is our own perspective while writing. So it is a secondary form of information, very vital. Meta-analysis in medical terms, a large number of medicines are available. So one such drug will have qualitative and quantitative information related to that drug. Everything on one particular article analysis we are submitting, that is called meta-analysis. Chapters in books or editorial information that they are trying to circulate, which is very vital, that can be calculated as secondary communication. Now, both of them has a very important role to play, because be any medium, it is going to stay forever. And for our upcoming research scholars, I am sure that you have so much to do, but writing it really validates your work. So it is very important to write. It will stay forever and it will be talked about, cited. And we are going to talk about those citations as well. Certain tips for research and scientific communication. These are the tips that even I follow nowadays. If I want to publish a paper, even now when I feel that because I have this understanding, I will try to upgrade the publications that I have from 1 impact factor to 2 to 3 to 10. Why not? These tips really help. This entire session also, it helps me as well to write a good quality paper. Literature review via peer review database is very important. When we talk about peer review, it means trusted databases. Some experts have reviewed your content and that content is available on those databases. We are again going to see about databases and publications in coming minutes. But a thorough literature review when you do about a particular topic, that is only when you get confidence, because you're not reinventing the wheel. Something that is already done, we don't want to do. It will come under plagiarism. That is why what is existing recently in the past, what work is done related to that area, you must know. And during the literature survey, you will definitely find what is your interest area. That is also one way of finding what interests you, what topic you should take for your own research. Making an outline is a very one way in which we are not piled in of data. It's really one way to keep what is important, discard what is not important. Every single time when you are making an outline, you will make sure to evaluate your work at any given time. So that's how you will be more organized. Making an outline, even though it seems very time consuming, but the people who really organize, make an outline are very sorted. And at any given time, they know, okay, this is not working. What should be the next step? Outline helps. When you are doing your literature survey, you need to narrow down depending upon your interest, not what is going around. Of course, if something topic that is being discussed a lot, from that, does it interests you? If it interests you, then only it will bring out the uniqueness. So that is again very important to do in research. Basically, identifying the knowledge gaps. When you read a lot, that is how you find the gaps in the work. Where work needs to be done, that can be only found if you are doing thorough literature review and being concise. Using minimalistic words in communication is very important to make an impact. Less words, but impactful. That's how in science your article is valued. It's not just like a big, long, double, triple time you're repeating. No, concise, not repeating, and making an impact in lesser words. We talked about being organized and making anything. When you are going to publish, you have to publish according to the publication guidelines, and a very streamlined process is nowadays followed. Not nowadays, from 1970s it is followed, that introduction, IMRAD, introduction, method, result, and discussion. Everywhere it is followed to have a particular streamlined process. Use simple language, because if you feel using complicated language, you will elevate the quality of your paper, but are the masses who will not get connected to your paper, and the citation can get impacted. And at the same time, oral, poster presentation, wherever you feel you can communicate your idea, that is how you will get the feedback. And when you get feedback, you build the quality of your work. And now we will talk about quality or quantity. There is a term H index for that. H index, was given in 2005 by Hershey's, a scientist. Now, H index is a metric that considers both number of publication. As in now, as an author, I am an author. I have number of publication, and that number of publication and number of citation, both are evaluated. This evaluation is directly being shared on the databases. So this is not something we must worry about how to evaluate. They evaluate and present up on the databases. Every author has their own H index. So evaluating number of publications and number of citations. This balance overall is called H index, and this maintains the quality of the work. Now, having a proper citation, that's why not just quantity of papers, but citation will talk about the quality. The paper that I have published, if it has good number of citation, it means it is going to make that social, economical, and political change. It is going to make an impact. People are interested in your work, and that is how we must receive good number of citation for our work. Now, what is citation basically? Reference source. Citation, every research article or thesis, you will see this kind of in the reference section. We mention the authors. This is basically called citation. We have to mention, if we are referring their work, their idea, we have to mention them in our reference section. Once we mention, they will get citations. The citations will improve. It will get updated. A reference source within the text. Sometimes we add within the text it all, one number in a box. There are different formats in text citations we do, depending upon the publications. And citations help to acknowledge the original work and provide a way to track the influence of the paper. Now, if I have written a research article and somebody wants to know more about different aspects of that topic, then in the reference section, they will follow that author. And everything is mentioned. Now, commonly, MLA, APA, Chicago, Howard, and Vancouver. MLA, APA, and Chicago, these are very common styles of referencing. Referencing style, it means every publication has their own format of writing the author name, writing the journal name, writing the title of the article, and the volume, issue date. Everything has a particular format. So everybody follows a particular format, and that is how the style is been given, depending upon the writing of all the designing of the content within the style. Now, another important term is impact factor. We are very familiar with this work, but let's get to know what exactly the impact factor is. It measures the journal influence. We know the higher number of impact factor means the journal is very good. What does that mean? Now, it means that how much numbers, big numbers, the impact factor is, be it 1, 2, 3. It means that depending upon the impact factor, people are coming, reading, and not just that, they are citing whatever is published in that journal. Somebody is they are citing their work. Depending upon the citations, indirectly how it is influenced, you can see the impact factor gets increased. If nobody is citing the work published in that particular journal, means impact factor will get reduced. So that is how a publication keeps their foots, they are playing over their tiptoes, that they are very cautious selecting a particular article, reviewing that everything, and then publishing and making sure that it is being cited is important. Now, how it will get cited? If the article that you have published is concise, is being interesting, and written in a format, used all those resource tools, engaging you have written, we will see those aspects as well. So impact factor is a measure of journal influence. Higher the impact factor, more influence it will have. And it is calculated, the calculations are done by Clarivate Analytics. Wherever you see that this is the impact factor, make sure that it is given by Clarivate Analytics. If it is mentioned, Journal impact factor by Clarivate Analytics, that is only the original impact factor. Otherwise, it is fake. So you have to be very cautious, and how it is calculated, and a very basic example I have given here to help you understand. 2022 impact factor will be released in the year 2023. How the years play a role. And the formula can be A upon B. It's a very basic formula where A is number of times the article which is published in. Now see the year. Again, it is changing the preceding 2 years. 20 and 21 were cited. So citation is very important to the total number of research and review articles that was published in these 2 years. So citation plays a very vital role. So if you see fluctuations in the impact factor, it is only because the citations are changing. And if the citations are not coming every year consistently, the journal will lose its credibility. So it is very important for a journal, from a journal perspective as well. Citation, not from an author perspective, but from the publication perspective as well, it is very important. We see there are various models, subscription based, where author has to pay certain amount, subscription based journal. Sometimes, most of the times, author has to pay certain amount to publish their article. It is quite mentioned on their platform. And most of the times in good peer review journals, author does not have to pay. The readers will have to pay. How? The library should have subscription to access that resource. But in open access, everything is free for the readers. But authors, they are paying certain amount known as article processing charges from the author end. And now these amounts are little heavy amounts than the subscription based, because once your article is published, it will be there in public domain for free to access. Now what will happen? Your citations will get improved. You get a better citation because there is visibility, no hindrance. Most of the time you find an article interesting, but subscription we don't have. So then no citation. That is why most of nowadays authors are moving forward, and this is the future of publication, everything open access. But we are in the intermediate phase. It means that creators' work is on the internet for free to use. As I said, authors have to pay. Now, author will pay depending upon certain funding, and there might be the background from how they are getting, they are supporting their work. And depending upon that, it can be gold open access, green open access. There are various forms of open access. In green open access, there is an embargo period in which the article will not be made completely free for the end user to read. After a certain period, it is freely available, and that period can be found on Sharpero Romeo. This is the sign. Whenever you see, it means open access. Now there are certain licenses. 6 type of licenses are there, and these license helps. There are certain permits given to the user for downloading, for sharing the original work, and there are 6 types: attribute, share alike, attribute, no derived, attribution, no commercial. We call it CC, BY, SE. Depending upon 6 ways of that collaboration of different licenses together, 6 licenses are there, and that gives a hold for the author in which they can control their own work. 4 steps of manuscript writing and publishing. Very important step is that we must know what is publication, and we must know what is databases, and we must know what are the good publications and databases. So publication is something that publishes content. The work for them is to publish. If it is a book, review article, there are different types of article, like methodology, case studies, whatever it is they are publishing. The work of database is to structurize, is to store the data in the form of archive, preservation. That is for reason database structurize, archives the content. It is sometimes multidisciplinary. And publication publishes depending upon their subject area. For example, if it is a chemistry subject, then chemistry related content will be published in a very well known American Chemical Society. Similarly, for physics, mathematics, there are different publications. They publish ebooks, journals, and different articles depending upon subject related, physics related. And these publications will have n number of journals, n number of ebooks. We will see that. But very commonly known databases are Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar. Google Scholar we all follow. But what happens in Web of Science and Scopus, what happens is there is no fake. That thing is we safeguard ourselves from getting into the trap of fake journals. But in Google Scholar, it isn't freely accessible. So these two are subscription based. That is how we are cut off from the fake. But in Google Scholar, it is a freely accessible. In Google, you will type. So fake also we get trapped. So we have to be very cautious to know in the first hand that what is fake, how to identify them. Archive, these are preprint servers nowadays are very talked about. Every field, be it any field, there are archive. ACS also has archive. Their archives are called CAM archive. Here, before publication, you can publish your content and you will get the ORCID ID or some ORCID ID. It is attached to the article so that you get the credibility. Nobody is copying that. Everybody will know this is the most ethical thing that you're doing. ORCID ID is given, so you get an authority, and at the process you get the feedback to improvise your work so that once you publish, you know there are no loopholes. The chances of rejection will be less. So nowadays archive are published most of the time. We are in the process of publication and we see somebody has already published similar, so they get the one to be the first one to publish. In science it matters, in research it matters. So that's how through preprint we get that, okay, we were the first ones working in that area. Now databases, firstly, if you don't want to get in the trap of fake, we must know the subscription based products. Those are Scopus and Web of Science. How to even find the right journal. So these are certain databases. Of course, we will go to the databases to find the right journal. These are certain examples that will help you even to pick right journal for publication process or for reading something. Jail helps you find the best journal for your manuscript. PubMed, it again helps you find a right journal. Elsewhere Journal Finder, find a perfect home for research using Elsewhere tool. But this tool basically master journal list, manuscript matcher, a free tool by Web of Science. So it is coming from Web of Science database that they have built this platform to find a right journal. Of course, if you have subscription, then you will able to access the content, the full text, but you can type here, search the journal title, word, and you can then find the right journal. And this is how you match the manuscript. This is the option given here through master journal list, and this is the direct link. Moving ahead, step 2 for principles of scientific writing. As a scientist, as I said, when you're doing the literature survey, you must find what interests you. It's very important. And when that interesting area you find, that is how you will get connected to your work passionately, and you will find that uniqueness. Because otherwise, if you just do for the sake of it, that uniqueness is missing, and then it gets overwhelming that I am not able to find something novel. So if you find, that's my tip for you, do what you like, do what interests you. Automatically, things will be easier. Writing and reading both are interrelated. So if you think I want to write a review article or a research article, how can I do that? You need to read a lot. And again, if you will read, automatically there will be words flowing. And when you are writing, Words will be only flowing when you are reading a lot of content. So it is very important. And I think during my PhD, I missed on this topic. So nowadays, if I want to write, I make sure I read a lot. Things are very easy then. Polish your first draft. Sometimes after writing, we feel, okay, my work is done. No, actually, then the finale starts. Finale is the one where you polish your draft using different web resource tools. These are plagiarism tools, English language tools, and another other tools. N number of tools are there. We will see. Write your in interesting manner. Very important, because if you are not interested to read your article the fifth time, the sixth time, what do you expect from others? So it has to be interesting, written passionately. Now these are clone journals that helps. One should be very cautious. For the first time, these are the checklists, because nowadays original and predatory documents look very alike. So these are the checklist. Earlier we have to check ISSN, but nowadays they copy that. Check if it is included in the predatory journal list, like UGC care list. But many a times it is updated, it is not updated. So we have to make sure that it will have an unprofessional web page and domain. There will be no editorial information, and other transparent things will be not there. The published paper will not be in a very common streamline. Some it will have errors, some other format, some other format. There will be no ORCID ID attached. Nowadays they say for DOIs we will provide you digital object identifier, but ORCID ID is that unique ID that you get that will be missing. The very end I am mentioning, but this is the bullseye, that is to mention if it checking it in the indexing and databases like Web of Science, Scopus. If you know that the journal is available in that databases, then again your work is done. That way you will know that it is not a predatory. If it is mentioned in there, it is not a predatory. How to write an impactful abstract. We always wonder where we are missing. Nowadays, there are various resources that will help you write in a very impactful manner. Definitely, a title will have a particular design, but any abstract, it should cover everything that the paper has below. So everything in sometimes they ask for 250 words, be it introduction, objective, 2 lines of objective. Of course, many a times we don't mention introduction, objective, methods, results, and conclusion, but unsayingly, everything should be there in your abstract. Why? Because abstract, everybody is to read. Title, the author's name, and the abstract. This is worldwide free for everybody to read. So that is how the first impact you make is by people reading their abstract, because nobody is going to read your paper until the abstract they find is useful for them. So writing an impactful abstract is mentioning all these areas and not missing anything. Introduction, objective, method, result, and conclusion. If you mention everything, automatically it will become impactful. A visual guide to an article structure. Most probably we are here covering research article that we are going to publish. Every article, be it review, be it case study, books, they have a certain streamline format. Why? Because when we are reading it or when we are publishing it, that streamlining helps every end user to access it, to understand. You read the first article and every time the format is same. So the 10th article, 20th article, you will find very easier to read them. You know what is there. So we have dissected that. Person who did most of the work will be the first author, and the last one will be the principal investigator. Abstract, all the main points we have already covered. The first para should consider the motivation. Now we talk about passion and motivation here. Of course, in research, it plays a very vital role, that why you're doing this research. Here, all the literature review will back up your hard work. Is that these are the research, these were the existing research. That's how the editor, the reviewer, the reader will know that, okay, thorough, this paper will give me a glance because thorough research has been done. Research gap. After the literature review, you mentioned the research gap. After doing so much of literature, this is the missing area in which I am working, and this is my question that I am going to solve using a particular methods. And then you use those methods to validate, to say that using these methods, I'm going to answer my question. Then at the end of the here, after the methods, you can often near at the end of the methods, what are the experimental weaknesses? Most of the time it is missing. Many a times if you see that, it really helps us understand that the research is thorough. In result and discussion, you add in result section, you mention the result. You do not discuss it. For that, discussion section is there. Most of the time, people confuse result when instead of mentioning them, they try to discuss them. So those two areas are different. But at the time, if it is together, first mention your result, main finding, the most important data for answering the question, often summarized in the beginning, and later you discuss the main findings using subsections. And at the end, you write the conclusion. You see that usually at the end of publication, how does the answer to the question improve the society and fill the research gap? We talked about this in the beginning only, that every research has to make certain societal, political, economical change. So you have to, in the end, mention that very evidently. This is the review process. Now, review process starts when author submits the manuscript. It goes to the editorial team. Now, editorial team will check for if it is written according to the guidelines of publication. Does it the journal covers the topic which you are submitting? Scope, plagiarism, English language, this all editor will check. After, if it is otherwise not found, one of the top four is missing, or the many other criteria that they have, but these are very common and very well known. If it is rejected, they will give a certain reason. Otherwise, send to the reviewers. Reviewer will give revision. These are the experts of that particular field. Revisions, after revision also there are chances of rejection, or it gets accepted and it will enter into the publication process. Now, entire process takes time, months, and that is why using web tools and resources and polished draft, putting up on archive and then publishing, it helps you to avoid rejection, because it's a very long process. AI assistants have become very common. Now, AI, we are very well known that these are generative pre-trained transform language model that generates text by predicting the next word in sequence and work on prompt engineering. There are AI detector, and good AI detectors will come in the coming time. So if you entirely copy paste the computer suggested thing, GPT-2, plagium.com, they will count. There will be a score and it will say that you have copied. AI tools, when we talk about them, these are aids, not substitutes. So we have to not replace that with our own critical thinking and expertise. This is not debatable at all. If you use these tools, fine, it's your choice. But if you substitute that entire copy pasting without critical thinking, without applying your expertise, that is unethical. Clearly attributes AI generated content and distinguish it from their own contributions. Because if something is AI mentioning, in coming times, we know the language of an AI, and we as a human being, we will be like, it's looking like a computerish language. Review and verify the AI generated content for accuracy and alignment, and then use that content, because you don't know from what it is coming. Even I have find multiple times error. If I have requested for certain paper, it shows me the author's name and the source and the publication, everything information. But when I search, I don't find that. There is no transparency, because so much from what they are using, how they are using, that is missing. So that is why we have to be very cautious using them. and stay informed. Ethical guidelines, whenever we talk about those, so maintaining the ethical guidelines, how will we maintain the ethical guidelines? By not avoiding critical thinking and the expertise that we have, not means always using that. Essential research tools. Now, these are AI-based research tools that helps you in literature survey, elicit, connected paper, research rabbit. Now, these are names, but once you type that in YouTube, you will find videos that will help you understand how to use. Now, multiple videos are there, short videos, how to use, how to access elicit, how to access connected paper for literature survey. In a very quick few minutes, you will understand, and definitely it plays a very good role in improving the quality, because using these tools will definitely help you upgrade the quality. Writing assistance, ChatGPT, WordTune, Bard, it's like a friend that is giving you advice. It depends upon your critical thinking and expertise, how well you will use these tools for your work. For grammar and paraphrasing, these are the Quillbot. Grammarly, you also know. Sometimes the suggestions you appreciate, fewer times you don't like, so you will be like, I don't. But depending upon the suggestions, you open up platform for yourself to know, okay, this could be done. That way, these tools are really helpful. For citations, reference management, these are the tools. And even for qualitative and quantitative data, text to converting in tabular form, graphical forms. These are the tools that helps you make beautiful tables, beautiful graphs. For productivity, these are productivity tools that help you stay organized. Now we will move ahead to talk more scientifically based tools. First is Drillbit, plagiarism detection tool. Like Drillbit, the very well-known web tools are Turnitin, Urkund. These are very well known. So what plagiarism detection tool they do are again based upon AI and machine learning technology, continuity of word. Here again, if you copy paste, AI will see the continuity, repeatability of the work, and sometimes you paraphrase clumsily, like you don't inspire, you kind of change here from and or above sentence below. These kind of clumsily doing paraphrasing also AI can capture. If you really understand and write it in your own perspective, then that will not happen. One unique feature is that the language feature of Drillbit. Now you see, I have taken this from Web of Science Academy. With time, plagiarism is something shooting up. And if you copy the idea, if the idea is copied, your paper can get retracted. Now, plagiarism tool will not be useful in that area, but definitely if the author comes to know and somebody complains about it, the paper will get retracted, removed, and it will be mentioned in the retracted section. We have already seen, to avoid plagiarism, citations in different styles are very important. And when we are citing, what we are mentioning: author information, date in which it was published, item title of manuscript, source, which journal, and the volume and DOI. If this is there in the reference section, we should not bother about plagiarism. Any plagiarism tool will work upon content coverage. So you see different changes in the reporting of plagiarism tool is because of the content coverage. The more the content coverage, the updated the plagiarism tool is. Depending upon that, the more accurate their report will be. Langquill is for English communication. Now, because English is now not our first language, we might have certain loopholes and errors in which we might want to rectify our work. This is a language lab in which you get certification. But at the same time, listening, speaking, reading, writing, it's a certification course. But here, the grammar and assessment feature, you can upload your thesis as well, and it will help you learn. It will give you suggestions, and you will know what you are doing wrong, and you will improve. After a while, you yourself will be confident in knowing, okay, this is wrong, that is wrong. So using this kind of tool helps you in that process. Rejection rate of the journals from the Western side is very high, about 95%. And because we are not the English speaker, native language is not English, 15% of world population is speaking English and 5% is native speaker. So that is why no harm in using those tools, and very important to use such tools. MyLoft, when we are accessing resources, this is one that if your library is subscribed to MyLoft, then from your mobile phone, you can access your library resources, your computer, your mobile outside the campus. Especially during COVID, we all know that we were not able to access libraries, computer, or within the campus. So outside our campus, using these resources, MyLoft, even on our mobile phone, you can access all that resources. Now let's talk about Clarivate's Web of Science. Huge database that it is divided into 6 different databases, and out of that 6, from the 2 databases, out of the 6, 2, if your journal is coming in that 2, one of the 2, you get impact factor. So that is how beautiful Web of Science is. To log in any resource, educational resources, there are 2 ways: IP authentication and username and password. IP, Internet Protocol Authentication. It means within the campus, IP authenticated, be it the library computers or your personal laptops. You can get IP authenticate from the library, and within the campus, then you can access. Sometimes there are username and password, so that username and password could be accessed outside. These are cloud based, so you can access them outside the campuses as well. 99 of the top best 100 global universities rely on the report of Web of Science. So when you are accessing Web of Science, you know that there is no question of finding the fake journals, and the journals you find there, those are cited by 99 of the top 100. So you know the best of the minds are coming. If you publish your article in Web of Science journal, you know that it will get good visibility, good citations. EndNote is a patented site for reference management. Manually reference management, you will miss out on comma. It is too overwhelming. So EndNote, Mendeley, Zotero, these are different beautiful softwares that will help you. Web of Science, enroll and sign in here, is a free online training supporting academics in conducting research with integrity. Few of my screenshot you might have seen, I have taken this course, and you get certification as well. So it is free to enroll and you get certification. You get to understand research and integrity from the experts from Web of Science. Now moving ahead, we will be talking another 5 to 10 minutes. We will be talking about publications. And these are relatable things. We will be talking about ACS, but those aspects are relatable with every other publication. American Chemical Society, we will unfold certain important highlighting points. Every publication covers a diverse portfolio of journals, chemistry related. You have to see what are the important topic it covers: agriculture, biotech, education, electronics. Similarly, every publication will cover certain topics, and in that topics, they will have n number of journals and number of ebooks. Now, ACS has 80 plus journals. Open access, they have 12 open access, and their other journals are 65 plus journals are hybrid, open access content and subscription together. So they have 80 plus covering this topic. So you have to find the right journal. That's why I say that when you will submit, finding the right journal is very important. And how you will do that? If you know that you want to publish in ACS, through Web of Science, through Scopus, you found out a particular journal that is related to your topic, and that is ACS. So when you will be publishing, you have to read here, select a journal, everything you need to prepare and submit your manuscript, the guidelines to templates to what the journal covers. And then you have to see similar papers. Okay, it's just that it has published something similar. Then you make sure that, okay, we already talk about ChemArchive preprint. Before publication, this server holds articles for everybody to read, to give positive feedback, and definitely very interesting, gives you validation that you have already worked on the content in the very beginning times, because publication process is a very long time consuming. ACS resources, like ACS, other publication will also have free resources. So make sure you know them. ACS Author Lab, they cover this topic, common errors in scientific writing, free, 1 to 2 duration, and register. So aren't we interested in knowing what are the errors, how to rectify them, how to not repeat them? ACS Reviewer Lab, what's a reviewer mindset? A salami slicing, very interesting, that a particular body is cut short to publish multiple papers to get quantitative, but how it impacts on the quality of the author, how it, the citations also doesn't improve. So that contents in Reviewer Lab, free. But ACS Guide to Scholarly Communication is subscription based. Here experts have given articles that will help you understand about scholarly communication, A to Z, everything is covered. APS Journal, American Physical Society for Physics. This journal collection and impact factor I have showed. Now again, any publication will have journals, open access journal, and archives. So archive, certain time period they have to store the previously dated information, but you will see that the journal range, you have to always make sure that you know what journal covers what. Now APS is also one of the highest impact factor journals. Review of Modern Physics is 50.48. Now this was 2022. The recent one I will definitely update. The star ones are open access. So you know that there are publications that has subscription based journal that is different, and open access will be different. American Psychological Association, APA, award-winning platform. This is American Psychological Association. I want to highlight from this this publication, this award-winning website. It covers so much of, any publication will cover so much of content. How to find, how to refine your search is by using advanced search feature. Every publication will have advanced search option. Once you will click here, filters will come up. These filters you have to populate. This advanced search filters you have to populate, and that's how from so much of content you will be finding the right content for yourself. Everyone has advanced search feature. Make sure you use that. Like APA database, every publication has different databases. Databases means what? What it covers, what it holds. So for APA, it has writer, a tool for academic writer, teaching and learning for effective writing. This is also one tool that librarians are very interested in, because this is the future. It is a platform in which you can write your article. It's a very organized platform, very beautiful platform. Books covers, there are certain videos and conference material like this. Every publication has so much to offer. AAAS is another beautiful website. Now let us see this publication resource, American Association for Advancement of Science. Out of this, they have 6 journals, and from that their science journal is always on the top 10. I will say on the top 5 impact factor list. It will be always there. So that prestigious. But every website looks like this. So much to offer. Resource center, programs, news, event. You have to invest few moments. They will also have YouTube videos in which they will be telling you how to access the resource. They will have customer support. But more than that, every publication has YouTube videos, short YouTube videos. So from there, you know how to access them. But at the same time, your questions are not answered. So for that, at Balani Infotech, we conduct such sessions where if you have any questions, we will answer that. Now, by clicking at who we are, you will be directed to Science Journal. Similarly, every publication, you have to invest certain time to know how the publication website is working. And I said, Science is their magazine which covers the latest news and information, and always on the highest impact factor. Science Advances is gold open access. Now a journal, if I say is gold open access, it means for the reader, it will be free to read. Entire journal is free to read, and others are subscription based. Lastly, we are covering mathematics related journal. Now for mathematics related information, this image, like this, every publication has a drop down menu or an image that will help us to see what are the journals and books in that particular area. If I'll click on data science, the books, ebooks and the journal related to data science will come up. So like this, every publication has drop down menu or this clicking images that will help you in that process. Now Project Music is also one of the interesting databases for social science and humanities. Now this databases is different than other because if you will access Web of Science or Scopus, if you will click on the journal will open up in that own website, in their own website. But in Project News, it is designed as such that if I click on it covers 125 plus publishers content, so 800 plus journal, 8,000 plus.
Dr. Nikta, we couldn't hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, let me know which slide I stuck. Where?
Yeah, here. Here
only. No, ma'am. So
yeah.
This is our last product that we will cover is World Library. Now, World Library is one such product or one such useful resource in which everything, if we talk about.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Please keep in presentation mode.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, if I'll keep in presentation, I have to move down to so many slides. I'm trying, but it is not happening. Some problem is coming, ma'am. I don't know. But there are only.
It's okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. So World Library is for ebooks, again, subscription based. But if you have subscribed to it, then all the subject area, be it the millennial books or whatever precious books from the past, from 19th century, even 18th century, some books are also covered. So, but at the same time, subject related books are also covered. And here, I want to highlight here one feature, that is one logical operation. This is also available in advanced search. So I want to highlight here that these are all called filters. Any, title, author, publisher, these are called filter options. Here we have to type keywords. Now when we are selecting a right keyword for our own paper, so that's why we have to be very cautious choosing those keywords, because we have to always type that whenever we will find in databases as well. You might have seen we have to write a word. Keyword plays a very vital role, and here this is called logic operations. This feature, and, or, none, this helps us to do multiple searches. If I will say, that means two searches I can do in one. If I'll say or, that way I will get an option to find two searches using an or option, ye ya fir ye. So that way you will know that two searches or multiple searches, if I'll do, I can do using advanced search. Most of the time we feel, okay, what difference it makes, but when there are in databases lakhs of articles are there, finding the right article, we are very enthusiastic in the beginning of half an hour and 1 hour. Human tendency, after an hour we will be very so much of information we have read. So finding the right article in the beginning is very important. Stay connected with Balani Infotech social media. This is my email ID for any questions on or queries. We will share with you feedback form. We will share with you e-certificates in coming time, maybe within a week or two. And a YouTube link for today's session will be also circulated with you. I hope you find this session useful. This is my email ID. If there is any questions, please let me know. I will be happy to answer them. And thank you for giving your valuable time. Thank you, ma'am. I have covered all my topics. I
Yeah,
hope
thank you very much, Dr. Nikita ma'am, for such a wonderful presentation within a short span of 40 to 40